I think next I have the pleasure to introduce our speaker, Reverend Teresa Phillips, and her topic is bold awareness.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Teresa Phillips, and it's my joy to be here today. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are here or the fathers that are listening. You're very important to us. Now, I love the song. I love to hear the world to sing, because last night I was just singing my heart out when they made that goal and they won the game and everybody was having a good time in Edmonton. It was a joy to see them together. And today I'm going to talk about connection, communication, and community. And I see that the group that goes and watches the games in the Ice District and all the other places, they've formed their own little community. There's even a lady, and she dresses as a cup. And I think she's called Mama Stanley. I'm not sure. It's what they call her. And everybody takes pictures with her, but it's part of a community. So I have my own motto, and it's everywhere I look, I see the face of God. And that means that the divine essence, universal mind, is in everything, each one of you. The animals, the plants, all things are expressions of the divine. And every day I see lessons, spiritual lessons. And it's by observing my connection with all around me. Especially the people, the family, the friends I meet along the way, and strangers even, they all teach me something. You see, we're all in life together because we're each creations of the one mind. We are full expressions of the divine in our own unique, wondrous way. We're here to continue to live, and only we can express our gifts, our purpose, by honoring our preciousness, by listening to our heart, to watching things around us that teach us on our journey of life. Now, none of us are a nobody. We may have learned we're a nobody, but each of us are a somebody. So it feels good to be a somebody. I want everybody, if you so wish, to say, I'm a somebody. All right. Say it like you're at the game here. I'm a somebody. It's true, though. Think of all people we love and appreciate. They're all somebodies to us. And each of us are loved and appreciated by many others. We're somebodies. And we all have our own special communities, our so-called tribes, and we're always discussing new areas that we belong and maybe move away from old groups we were with. But we're all contributing, and we're all enjoying one another and learning from one another. That's the earth, the universe, the wonder of life. the beauty of others and our beauty that we bring to them, the divine spirit within us. But life happens along the way, and at times it's not always smooth. There are obstructions. And I'm using the word obstructions because I had a whole week of obstructions. And I had an incredible lesson in its obstructions. But there's no limits or barriers to what we can do. So I want to share my communities with you, as we all have communities. Firstly, we are the Red Deer Center for Spiritual Living, and we are a community. We all feel something for one another. We are a community, and we're constantly changing, but that's part of what keeps us healthy and growing. And each of us have our own wondrous talents that we bring here. Never underestimate the importance of who you are, nor the importance of you being here on Sundays or whatever else there is, because you make a difference and you're blessing those around you. Well, one of my communities is an old diner. It's a restaurant. And it's just off Sylvan Lake Highway. It's a business oil, a whole little community. All the businesses are there, and they go to this little trolley. And it's a real old little trolley made into a little restaurant. And right next door to it is an old-time gas station, old cars. And it's actually that location, there's been movies there, music videos there, weddings there, because it is so unique. So it's just over there if you ever want to visit it. And it's not open today. It's only open during the week because they serve their little community around them, the oil field community there. But hubby and I have become part of the gang. That's because we're regulars. And I have a special bond with the staff. He does too. And the waitresses especially, knowing them, they share stories about themselves and their grandchildren and showing each other pictures. And we do the grandma brag. And I think I'm probably a way bigger grandma bragger than any of them. But we appreciate one another. Or when there's something happening in our lives, and we're all different personalities there, we share and say, oh, this has happened, or that. Like recently, one lady, it was her neighbor, an older fellow, passed away, so she's talking about the funeral and how she feels. Well, we have our own special person, our Gord. And we are experiencing the honor of attending his celebration of life this Friday at 1 p.m. here at the center. Because he was part of us. We're a community. And the love we have all formed for Gord and how he has taught us in his own way. Nobody else can do that. That was only Gord that could do that. So I was talking about learning lessons, watching life, and how they had taught me things. Well, just outside of where you turn off of the Sylvan Lake Highway and you turn in, they had construction, all kinds of road construction. It was slowing down all the traffic on the highway. But when we got into the little area, we realized it was slowing down all of the big trucks from that area. We're talking 18-wheelers. We're talking oil field company trucks that might have 1 or 2 pups behind them, all full of who knows what kind of oil field stuff. Heavy loads. And they were all waiting. And then, while we're at the diner, it's time to pay for our food. Well, guess what? The till got stuck. Wouldn't move. So there's one of the fellows. He's a great big guy from Oklahoma. I mean, he's big. He's 6 foot, I don't know what. He comes in there, and between the girls and him, they got the obstruction out of the till. And then we could pay for our meal. So what did I learn from that? Well, one, we all have obstructions in life. I learned that often our pathway may seem blocked, or we're in a big hurry. We want something, we're not getting it in time. But what I saw from that, from the trucks waiting, the people waiting to pay for their food, you have patience. And you know that there is a way out. Maybe those trucks had to wait 15 minutes, but they got their way out. And off they go. They went through the obstruction. And the till reminded me of one of the obstructions of life. And it is, oh Lord, there's not enough money. How am I going to make it? That kind of thinking makes us not move forward. There's always a way out. Divine mind always answers our needs. But we have to do something first. It's a 3-letter word. Ask. Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. And the door shall be opened. So I invite you to have the courage to ask. Nobody knows you're asking but yourself. And know and believe that within you is that universal power, knowledge, and spirit to overcome whatever lumps, bumps, fears, events, whatever is hindering you. You just say the word. You believe. And the trucks waiting made me realize on our journey, there are times we just have to stop and rest and get our head together. There's times you just allow yourself to be who you are. Take time for yourself and learn what your message is coming through you, through the divine. I'm talking about community. and we are part of community. And like I say, during the week when I do my talk, all these little interesting things happen. We were at the Legion on Saturday for breakfast. One of the fellows from the Golden Circle was there, and we met him there. He says, well, there's another guy coming. We're saying, okay, not sure if he's going to show up, but, and here comes his friend. And I look at his friend, and I immediately know who he is. Now, he didn't recognize me because he's in his late 80s, and he hadn't seen me for a long time. And I said, I know you. You're part of the neighborhood, my old neighborhood. Part of the community when I was young. And he looks, and I say, I babysat your two girls. Oh, and then the lights go on. And then we talk about the things we knew of the girls. It was a good connection. Well, we're there about 5 minutes talking, and in comes this lady, and I know her. She's from the old neighborhood. And we were kids together. Now, the old fellow, I babysat his kids, and then I got married, and we decided we'd buy a little house just down the hill. We bought it from the older fellow that was there. I said, remember, we bought your house? Oh, yeah. My friend who came to the Legion, we grew up together. She lived in the same little house. So all three of us, in different time periods, were part of that community. And when he met her and she met him, they had all these stories to talk about the old house. It's amazing how the universal mind or God speaks to us. And all we have to do is look around and listen. So it's Father's Day. Well, there's one incident I want to express about on Father's Day, or to do with fathers. My son had a sports day at school, and he was a little wee. And my husband went to go to the sports day to watch. And this little guy, probably grade 1, he grabbed a hold of his leg, and he was saying to all the other kids, that's my dad, this is my dad, this is my dad. He'd never seen the kid before. But he realized the importance to this little boy that he showed other people he had a daddy too. And maybe it made him feel better. So that is also part of the community. Loving, seeing the precious children around us, the precious people around us, because we are one community, we're one world. We're all connected. But I miss my dad very much. He's gone now. And he taught me, one of the things he taught me was to honor nature. And I was worried about work. And I always felt supported by him. There was a big event. I was called by someone who could make big decisions. They needed to see me the next day, and that's all I knew. So we went and ate at a restaurant on Gasoline Alley. And we came out of the restaurant. It was in the summer. And one of those big blue dragonflies landed on my shoulder right here. And that's why often you'll see me wear a dragonfly. It reminds me of my father. It reminds me I'm not alone. And it reminds me of the support of the universal mind always coming through with what I need. So that's important. But I also want to talk about this while I'm at it, because this is from the Kenya CSL church. And being a church group, we're community with them. They made this there. So buying this supported them financially. But when the dragonfly, I don't know, he was there 15 minutes or longer. We're walking up and down, and this is the older gasoline alley. It's just sitting there. And I truly felt, I think Dad's here. This is nature. I think the message is, you can do it. You're never alone. You are strong. Go forward in courage, and don't let anything stop you. We used to go out in the bush a lot. And there's a special fishing hole. It's actually a lake. And it's west of Bentley area. And we used to have to go big, long dirt roads to get there. And my dad would take my brother at first when my brother was young, and they'd go on these roads. And if someone said, don't go on that road, it's full of potholes, you might get stuck. Well, that's a challenge for my father. Oh, well, let's go, I'll show you. There's fish on the other end, and they'd go through. Well, he got stuck really badly. And I'm talking about out in the bush before you turn into the lake. So here's this rickety old farmhouse, extra rickety, extra old, needing help. Well, guess what? He knew the man that lived in that house. He knew him because my grandfather, and I don't know if it was his father, a relative of his, both came to Canada from Oklahoma in a covered wagon. They came together on their journey. Now, there's not much chance of that happening, but it did. And so there was always a big friendship as we go, well, let's go visit these friends. And they had a lot of boys, and so with my brother, it all worked out perfectly. But one of my favorite parts of that is by that lake, we had a special little path, and there was a little spring there, little flowers there. So we'd go and visit it. Dad showed me where it was. Well, one time, it was just me and him going. He went and he picked a flower. And he gave me this flower. And I could see the love in his face. And I felt so touched because I could also see the shyness for him to express. It was his generation. You don't hug, you don't show anything. But he had the courage to do it. And I think it's important that we realize that even though whatever our connection with our fathers may be, that they may have been shy. They may have not been able to express how they loved us. I would like now, if you wish, to just remember your dads, your grandpas, or the men in your life, because they all are, most of them will be fathers or have been fathers. Even the little wee fellas may be a father. So there's a oneness, a connection. But they deserve to be honored, to be celebrated. They work hard. There are people. So through this, going to this lake for many, many years, my brother takes his entire family there, and our son took us there for let's go out there, and the roads are way better. It's not like you get stuck anymore. You just whiz bang, there you go. And we got there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching my husband and my son and the two little boys. And I realized the beautiful connection, how we go from one to the other, that our lineage always continues. It was beautiful to see. And of course, they're having fun catching fish and everything. But it's the small things, bringing us joy, that teach us the lessons. And we're so lucky to have people in our life that we can love, that can love us. Now I talk about the connections of families have no bounds. Well, there's another thing happened. My husband comes from Greater Vancouver. And so we would go visit the parents. And then I discover that my uncle and my aunt live sort of in the same area. And then we went to one of the boys' weddings when we were visiting. But we discover that my husband's little brother and my two cousins, they all went to the same school together. They're all the same age. They all know one another. So when the brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, came up from Oklahoma, he had a big visit with the fellows at a family reunion in Surrey with us. Like, who'd think that would happen? But if you look around, you see your connection. We are on a journey, and our journey always continues. And we deserve the best. So thank you to the fathers. You are a special gift to your family and the world. And I know for you, and I know for me, that our unique and beautiful life is always blessed. And so it is.